Hi guys, it's Stephen Geekface. I'm back again with another review for yourself here today, which is for the film Yesterday, directed by Boyle, starring Aman Patel, who plays a musician who has a freak accident and wakes into a world where no one knows who the Beatles are, and he takes it among himself to make sure the whole world knows about the music and becomes a pop star along the way. Even though I love the idea for the premise for this movie, I was a bit skeptical as I'm not a real big fan of the Beatles, and besides we've seen loads of movies like this with films like Little and What Do Men Want, which is that comedy fantasy element, and they've been disappointing. But I went in with low expectations and hopefully I was hoping they could at least meet those, and I enjoy myself a little bit. So how does this film do? Well, the acting in this film was really good from everyone. Mesh Patel and Lily James really work in this film. The chemistry is so adorable to watch, and you really feel for these characters when they're not together. You want them to actually get together in this movie. The comedy in this film had me in stitches from start to finish. Anyone who questions British humour needs to rethink their life. When it's done well, it really works. Ed Sheeran is actually okay in this movie. He delivers his lines okay and actually has some funny moments in the film there as well. This film with the story does some really great detours. Every time I thought it was going to go certain ways, it just took it another direction, and I really love that when the film's not predictable and it gives me something new to watch on the screen. The surprise cameo in this film blew my head off. I actually could hear the whole cinema gasp when this scene happened. I don't even know who the actor was in this film, but it really works in this film, and it really made the film just feel complete with this particular scene. If you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. However, the film is not exactly perfect. There are some issues I had with the movie. Firstly, the pacing was a bit off at times, especially in the middle part. The film's supposed to be 1 hour and 30 minutes, but at times it felt like it was going 2 hours and more. And I wish they really cut down the scene in the middle part. The characters in this film, particularly Joel Fry and Kate McKinnon, they were annoying at times, and I didn't really like their characters, and they dragged along with the comedy. And sometimes it worked for them, but for the most part, they weren't written well. The two tones of the film, which had the romantic parts and the comedy parts, didn't always blend together. And if some audience might find it annoying, as if they're looking to just watch a film which is basically on romance, or a film that's just based on the comedy. Even with those small minor problems with the film, I really enjoyed this film from start to finish, especially with the ending. I'm saying it now, this is one of my favourite films I've seen this year so far. Very heartwarming film, and it just makes you feel happy when you watch the film as well, which is always a good plus. Not exactly perfect, and I know some people have a problem with it, especially if you're not a fan of, films that involve loads of music or the Beatles. But for those who are, you will have a blast watching this film. British humour is just great. I mean, come on, let's give the credit where it's due. I'm going to give this film an 8 out of 10. It's a film I highly recommend you to go and watch, especially if you're a fan of the Beatles and you're a fan of Boyle's work. So have you seen this movie? Are you going to watch this movie? Let me know in the comments down below. And what's your favourite Beatles song that you've ever heard? And remember to like, share, stay blessed, stay geeked. Bye bye.